Okay. So today we're going to be talking about networking and professionalism and mannerisms and etiquette. So right now this is kind of a strange year. So what I'm going to start off with is discussing just really the past etiquette from prior to 2020. And then at the end, I'll go into 2020, kind of how we're supposed to be working through etiquette in the middle of COVID. So a little bit about me. Rebecca has covered quite a bit of it. I am a PhD candidate. I am the co-founder of Calm Dispute Firm, and I am also a court-appointed special advocate volunteer. So with that, I represent the best interest of abused and neglected children in the family court system. And I'm also the regional chair in Kentucky and Tennessee for the American Bar Association's Women in Dispute Resolution. So with that, we're promoting the use of women neutrals in Fortune 500 companies and top law firms. So starting us off, social media. Watch what you do. Watch what you put on there. Share things that you're really interested in, the things that you may have an idea right now of kind of where you're wanting to go with your field choice. So you can share, retweet, post, things like that, but don't post pictures of you in a bikini. Don't post pictures that are something that would be deemed inappropriate. So just kind of watch what you're doing. Employers will look at your social media pages. I went to an interview once, and in the middle of the interview, she let it slip up. She goes, "Oh, I thought you looked familiar. I remember seeing that on your page," or "I remember seeing this picture on your page." So they do look. Make sure you do watch what you post, and also add value to your content. If you're going to share something, add a little bit extra to it so that you're showing other people your input and your opinions and your thoughts on it. Next up, don't use your phone. Turn them off before you go into any meeting, any appointment, any interview, anything like that. If you're going to meet with, if you're trying to network, try to just stay off of your phone as best as possible. If you cannot turn off your phone for an emergency reason, at the very least, put it on vibrate, silence it, do something so that for one thing, you're not being disrespectful to others, because it's showing that you're being disrespectful of their time, and you're also a distraction as well. So, and a person with bad manners has small chances for success. So keep that in mind. We want to make sure that we are on our best behavior and show our best manners. Clothing. So check the dress code. When in doubt, dress for the position that you want, not for the position that you have. Your choice of clothing is an impression. It is the first thing they notice when they meet you. And to kind of guide you as for how you should dress, you can sometimes look ahead and see kind of what the dress policy is. For some people, that's business casual. For some people, that's business dressy. So, or business formal. And you can look up here in the pictures. I have some examples for men's dress codes and then others for women's dress codes. And really just kind of have to play that one by ear as to what each company is comfortable with and what their policy requires out of you. Say your full name. So introduce yourself with your first and last name. Don't just say, "Hi, I'm Jasmine." That's very rude. You want to introduce yourself, make eye contact with this person, and say, "Hi, I'm Jasmine." Be confident whenever you say it as well. This will help people remember and recognize you, and it adds value to you. Shake their hand. So typically it's the host or the higher ranked person that's the one that initiates the handshake. And the handshake should last about 3 to 4 seconds. Look the person in the eye, as I said, and smile and give a firm handshake, not too hard, not too soft. Sit up properly. So don't sit with your legs crossed. Sit up straight, put your shoulders back, and show that you're interested in what the other person has to say. Pay attention. Really show how you carry yourself. And it also shows a positive attitude and high self-esteem, and it increases your confidence. So whenever your confidence is increased, you're going to be more comfortable, more relaxed, and more at ease. And it's the conversations are going to flow a little bit more naturally than if you're just kind of really stiff and uncomfortable. It will show. And then slouching also shows a disinterest, a laziness, and a disrespect. So after you have a meeting or appointment or an interview, send out a thank you card. So after you send a card after the meeting about 24 hours after, or an email. Emails will suffice as well. This shows your gratitude and your interest, and people also remember whenever you do send thank you emails and thank you cards. And I also have a little bit of a script in here that you can take a look at. So if you do write out an email, don't start the email out with I. So this is how you would want it to read. Good morning or good afternoon, and insert the person's name. Thank you for taking the time to meet with me. I enjoyed our conversation about, and then whatever the topic was. I am looking forward to hearing from you about the next steps, and please do not hesitate to contact me in the meantime if you have any questions. Best regards, and then put your name. And also, do not hyphenate. Take the extra second to spell out words in its entirety. So instead of saying it's, say it is. Instead of don't, say do not. Don't put in the contraction there. Professionalism in the workplace. So do not criticize or gossip. Kind of mind your own business there. Speak your mind in a polite way. So if issues do come up, be polite about them, but make sure you do assert your concerns. And then also believe only the proof facts and be honest to yourself. This shows how you get respect in the workplace. Also follow office rules and policies. At the beginning of every job that you get, you should receive some sort of a policy handbook or code of conduct. And in that, it will tell you all of the office rules and policies. And then if you're going into a coworker's office, always knock on the door before you go into their office. Don't just barge in there. It's quite disrespectful. So just knock and just let them know that you're there and that you have something that you want to discuss. If you have any business or events that happen over dinner, this is how you handle a dinner etiquette. So first, grab a snack before the dinner so your stomach isn't rumbling, and it will make you feel more confident, because then you're not just like, oh, I'm more distracted with being hungry, and focus on that rather than the person and what the guest speaker is going to talk about, or the person that's hosting the dinner, what their concerns are, what they want to bring up. Place your bag, if you have a purse or some sort of a bag or backpack or briefcase, anything like that, place that underneath your chair. Some people get a little bit confused. Do I set it to the side? Do I set it on the back of the chair? Do I put my purse handles on the handle of the chair? No, instead place it underneath the chair that you're sitting in. And also wait to sit until the host, the most senior person, or the oldest person has taken their seat. That's a respect thing right there. And be polite and don't rush through your meal. And also be familiar with the placement settings. And on here, I have placed a little table setting right here so you can kind of see. You always start with your silverware from the outside working in. So a lot of people get confused with that. So right here, always start on the outside silverware, and then you move your way in. So now here we are in 2020. COVID etiquette has changed almost all of that for us. So, and we're not entirely sure how long that we're going to be having to work through the COVID etiquette. So I wanted you to know both sides, just in case there is a time that we will get out of COVID. So here's what we do for today. There's no good or right way to handle etiquette right now, because we're making it up as we go. We're trying to do the best policies as we can go. So use your common sense, use your best judgment, and be respectful of how the other person may feel, because some people may feel a little bit more relaxed with COVID rules and other people may be a little bit more strict. And it really just kind of depends on the person and what they have. They may be around more people who are more immune compromised, for example. So they may take more precautions than somebody who isn't. And so safety is first and foremost for you and for others. Wear your mask. This shows respect for others and respect for yourself, showing that you care about yourself as well. And make sure your nose and mouth are both covered, just like this lady here. Make sure you stand 6 feet apart. And since we clearly cannot see the smile with the mask on, watch your tone, because the inflection in your voice can also kind of give a little bit more to the other person as to whether you're happy or whether you're sad or something like that. And right now we cannot do physical touching, so no handshaking or anything like that. Not everybody is comfortable with physical touch. That goes back to what I had said earlier, with some people just being a little bit more immune compromised and some people being a little bit more sensitive to the COVID issues right now. So due to this virus, instead of handshaking, nod your head, maintain eye contact, and you may even be able to offer a little bit of like a little wave like this, just like our Vice President-elect here is doing. Try not to elbow bump, just because you don't know if they've sneezed or coughed into their elbow, and you don't want to have to spread germs that way. Some more, respect elevator guidelines if you are inside of an elevator with someone. So if there are signs posted in the elevators, do not get on if there's several people inside. Try to stand along the side walls of the elevator if you can, just so you know that there's enough space in between everybody. Some elevators are posting some, sorry, too far back. Some places are posting signs like this, just to kind of give everybody a little bit of a heads up there, what they do allow, what they don't allow. Not all places do, so just be mindful of that. Don't ask to borrow a pen. Bring your own writing utensils and paper and everything with you. If you're eating at your job or in a cafeteria, avoid sitting directly across from someone so you don't risk getting the virus, as that is one of the times that they will not have a mask on. So be mindful of that as well. Bring your own items if you are in, say, more of like an office setting where you're having lunch or something like that, and there's a break room. Bring your own dishes, your own cups, your own silverware, things like that, so that you know that they are clean, they're not cross-contaminated, there's no germs that are sharing around. And don't go to work or school if you're sick, so you're not infecting other people. Even if it's just a cold, you don't want to have to get other people sick as well. And wash your hands. Wash your hands thoroughly. Here is some COVID etiquette for virtual meetings. We call this netiquette. Turn off the TV and all background noise. Make sure there's nothing going on in the background that's going to distract you or distract anybody else on the call. Turn off your cell phone ringers and alarms, just as you would if you were in person. Also dress appropriately, because they can still see you, even if it's just the top half. Make sure at least part of you is dressed appropriately. Per the office or school guidelines, your school should also have some sort of a dress code in place. They're probably a little bit more relaxed right now, but that's something to look into as well if you're not sure. You can still maintain eye contact as best as possible by looking into the camera to show that you're still paying attention and listening and things like that. Have lighting in front of your face instead of the side or behind you, so that the other person on the other side of the screen can still clearly see your face, your reactions, kind of monitor how you're behaving that way. Have lighting, or make sure the Zoom backgrounds are not distracting. So if you could have a white wall, that would be better than having a distracted background. Mute your microphone if you're not talking, just so that way you're not distracting other people if other noises do happen to pop up, or if a dog barks in the background or something like that. And don't eat during the meeting. So make sure you're really focused on what you're doing, and also be present. Be right here with the rest of the group, so that you're not doing other things. You're focused on this right here and nothing else. And then here is my information. Send it back to you, Becca.
Thank you. Thank you. That was a lot. And I found the COVID thing very helpful for some people out there. So yeah. First of all, thank you. I like that the Zoom meeting notes, because obviously I'm in there. Okay. So I'll start with another question. Can you share a story of the first time you tried to build the connections with people?
So it would really kind of just depend on what we're discussing. So the first time I ever got a job, I was 15, and it was through a catering company, and I got that job through my mom because my mom had worked there. So since my mom had worked there, she was able to network with her boss and have her boss have me on board. So that was how I was able to get my first job.
That's
so
good.
that was on a small scale networking thing. Another way I have networked, I had also gone to law school, all of this, and I had a professor in my undergrad classes who wrote two professors actually, who wrote my letter of recommendations. One was a PhD, the other one was, she's a practicing lawyer, she's now the judge here. She's the family court judge. So she was practicing during the day and she taught classes, or my law classes at night. And so those two wrote my letters of recommendation for me to go on to law school. So that was another networking thing so that they could put in good recommendations for me and to speak on my behalf for my betterment.
That's amazing. I feel like a lot of people get their first job from their parent recommending. So that's really nice. And thank you for sharing that. What steps would you give to someone who wants to start networking but doesn't really know how?
This right here is a good platform and good way to do it. First, see if your parents, think about the job that you want to have. Kind of see if you know anybody that's in that field or does any specialties. And if you do, then kind of reach out to them and say, hey, I'm interested in this. Do you have an internship opening up? Or is there any way that I could help you over the summer? It may be something like filling coffee or even just running errands, printing papers, but you're still in that office. You're still seeing what this person's doing. You're still seeing what's going on. You're still able to have an idea and you're able to ask questions to a professional. So if you know any of your parents' friends or you know anybody in the field that you're wanting to go into, just reach out to them because a lot of people really do want to help the next generation succeed and grow. So that would be one way. The next way is to continue on with Leaders Recognizing Leaders because they bring in so many amazing people that you're able to have the opportunity to ask questions to and just discuss and kind of figure out how to go from there as well. That could open up other opportunities. And also join clubs at school once we're out of COVID and you're able to join clubs. Do that because then there are some clubs that have advisors that are professionals as well that are outside of the school. I did mock trial and our advisor was a practicing attorney here in my town. So that was a good way for us to be able to network with him because attorneys all work with other attorneys. So they were able to spread around. So if there's a certain aspect of law that you would like, you could talk to somebody else and say, hey, I know this student of mine in my mock trial committee who is looking for an internship, things like that.
Thank you very much because I know a lot of people are awkward when it comes to acting. So thank you. I'll look in the chat for questions. I don't know.
Make sure you do ask because you won't ever do anything unless you do ask.
Yes, for sure. Does anyone have any questions from the chat? Isaiah said that the one with the business dinner helped me a lot. Me too. Especially like the plating that I have trouble with.
People don't know about it and most people do get really confused. So once they go to sit down, they're like, oh, there's 3 cups. Why are there 3 cups? Why are there 4 silverware?
What? I'm only used for a fork.
Right. Why are we not using one fork for everything? And they will take the plate and your silverware with them once you're done the catering stuff.
Okay. Someone said, thank you for the amazing information. That's amazing. And Isaiah's asking if you have any advice for law school for people who are interested in joining.
So really, there's not a whole lot that you can do. Just kind of make sure that this is something that you really want because law school is very much so intense. So look at different clubs and activities that you could join. Like I said, I did mock trial and you're basically given a hypothetical and you're kind of acting that out in front of judges, other lawyers, other people in your town. So try out for mock trial. I'm in Kentucky and we have a teen court program and I started that when I was 14, but you act as the lawyer, the bailiff, as the jury for your peers. So people that are in juvenile detention, you're actually doing those cases under supervision of a practicing attorney and judge. So that's a really good opportunity as well to kind of get your foot in the door with that and just kind of become familiar with it. And then also take the LSAT prep classes if you can.
Yeah, I think that applies for a lot of difficult jobs. For example, if you want to become a surgeon, you had to know that you want that job, because then you had to go through all those years of residency, medical school,
Absolutely.
the whole thing. And I found that really helpful, because I know a lot of people who, like, they don't know what they want, or they're worried that they might not choose the right career, and then later in life they're like, oh no. So, yeah,
absolutely. And then there's also a mock trial in college as well. So it's not just in high school, it's also in college. So you'll have 4 years, take law classes in college, and kind of get your feel for that. Really meet with the law librarian, and kind of practice legal research and legal writing, because it's completely different from any other type of writing. So get used to your librarians as well and use them. They're very valuable.
Someone's asking, can you do a mock trial in college even if you don't want to be a lawyer?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. You have to try out for it. So you'll have to figure out who the advisor is over the mock trial team, but you can just meet with them and discuss it. But there are mock trials in college.
Okay, that's good. And also about those programs you can do programs in high school and college that prepare you, which that's amazing to get you prepared for your career. And so the last question is from Isaiah, who wants to know do you personally offer internships or shadowing?
At the moment, we're not, but we're still progressing. We're a newer company, and so we're still progressing and still growing. And if you, Isaiah, if you want to send me your information, I'll definitely keep you in mind. So if we do have something come up, I'll definitely let you know.
Okay, that's amazing. That's about it. Thank you so much. I found this really helpful. The COVID, the dinner, the firm handshake, because I haven't done like a business handshake, and that worries me. So thank you very much. I appreciate that.
It's better to be prepared so you know all of this on the forefront, and then comfortable in the middle of it. And thank you all again for having me. Thank you so much, Rebecca, for hosting this.
Thank you for your time. I know you have a busy schedule, so thank you.
My pleasure.
Have a great day.
I'm going to jump in and say thank you so much, Jasmine, on behalf of Leaders Recognize. This is definitely an exciting experience for the students. So I do have 2 questions from our global leaders. So one question is, there's so many young people who are often shy, afraid of being able to speak up when it comes to networking. So what's one advice that you would give to students in terms of not being shy and really being aggressive enough to be able to speak up so that they can get opportunities as a student?
Well, you're never going to have an opportunity if you don't speak up. So it's in your best interest to do what it is that you want to do. So if you are presented with an opportunity, take it. Definitely ask for it, because you don't know what you're going to be missing out on. So kind of frame your train of thought as for switch it from what is going to happen if I ask, and think of it as kind of transform your thoughts into, this is what could happen if I do ask.
Awesome. Absolutely love that. And then the second and final question would be, a lot of times students are not necessarily ready to make a decision to join activities or join clubs. What would you say in terms of not making an excuse while you're in high school to join additional extracurricular activities? And what would you say in terms of making excuses? So let's just say I have a busy schedule. What do you do in order to be able to encourage young people to not make an excuse, but just continue to focus on their career path, and how do they use networking as a tool?
Think about what it is that you want to do. So if you're wanting to go into college, if that's the route that you're wanting to choose, you're almost going to have some sort of club or activity on your resume, because they want to see that you are a team player. They want to see that you are committed to other people. They want to see all of these activities that you're involved in, and that it's that you're a little bit more open. So I would really encourage you to check out clubs and activities, because schools look at that. They look to see what you're involved in and what you're interested in and things like that. And you don't have to do every single club and activity. You can choose one that are tailored to your interests. So if you find a club that you're interested in, it's something that's going to make you happy and you're going to love. So you're going to want to make the time for that activity. So also just kind of figuring out how to schedule your time. So if you're in school from 8 to 3 and the club is from 3 to 4, then you know that you have from 4 till 8 to do your homework. You can kind of figure out a schedule that works best for you so that you can do the things that you really do love that are actually going to benefit you in the future, because a lot of these clubs and activities are a form of networking. And it's really going to help you post-graduation as well, whenever you're looking for a job and looking in the market to get a job. They'll remember you.
Super. And just one final ask, if you can tell us a little bit more about Calm Disputes Firm and any exciting opportunities that the students should learn about.
Sure. So what we do here at Calm, we initially started Calm because there was a national case going on. It was a racism case going on in South Carolina. So the school board reached out to us. And so that was how Calm had started. And then from there, we have written a training manual that the Department of Justice uses on school resource officers. I'm currently writing a handbook for relationships. So we mediate a lot of cases for fathers that are, they don't necessarily have the highest income. They've either been in and out of jail, or they've just never been able to make a significant amount of income to afford to go to court for custody over their kids. So we do a lot of divorces and child custody cases, especially for indigent fathers primarily, and to help them get custody over their kids, or at least visitation at the very least. So we're working on that, and I'm working on a workbook for couples so that they can actually go in and fill out the workbook to really strengthen their bond, strengthen their relationships or their partnerships or their marriages. And I'm also currently working on starting up a book for teenagers right now. So if you have any suggestions on things that's going on or conflicts that you have going on there, please do let me know. I'm really interested and would really like to know, because I would really like to write a book about teenagers and their conflicts and kind of how to overcome those conflicts. And then I'm also, my business partner, he's also in our PhD program, and he's working on his dissertation right now as well. And he's a sergeant for his sheriff's office. So we're also working on training sheriff's office around the country. We're creating a training manual. We have one right now that's used in South Carolina, but we're working on others so that we can train sheriffs across the country as well on conflict resolution.
That is super awesome. So I just want to express thank you again, Jasmine, for your time. You have a heck of a schedule, and we appreciate you. The chat room is just sending a whole lot of love messages and saying thank you so much for being here. And so as we get ready to close out, we want to encourage you to continue coming back and sharing some great updates and feedback on etiquette and business networking, because of course, in this era of COVID-19, it is definitely one that we will have to keep educating ourselves on these very important topics. Thank you again, and we look forward to seeing you at another round.
Thank you so much for having me. I really loved doing this and just really enjoyed being here.
Thank you all. Take care.